Better.
Hello, everybody. The time is now 6:05, and this is a scheduled meeting for a briefing workshop of the Leander City Council. This time we're going to do a roll call.
Councilmember Catherine Battalion Parker. Here. Councilmember Michelle Stevenson. Councilmember Jason Shaw.
Here.
Councilmember Christine Setterquist. Mayor Pro Tem Chris Ernick.
Here.
Councilmember Marcy Cannon.
Here.
Mayor Troy Hill.
Here, we do have a quorum. We can proceed. At this time, the City Council can ask any questions of staff about any item that is posted on the agenda for the regular meeting. So, going down,
We're gonna have Gordon go through some of this stuff too.
well, if you want him to, but
Do it now.
why don't we go through the items that nobody has any questions on? So, on the consent agenda, is there anything that anybody had any questions about?
I just have some minor corrections, but we don't need to go through that now, do we?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
If, we're
Let's
gonna.
do it now.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
So
Go ahead.
there were just some, and tell me if this is even important. Whenever we have a meeting that's not on a Thursday, the agenda always says Thursday because that's your normal format. Is that important? Yes. Okay. So the date corrections for the 14th should say Monday, and the date corrections for the 15th should say Tuesday. And then one other item on agenda item, this is on the regular agenda, number 19, the vote was reversed. It says that, it says 5 for and 2 against. It was actually 2 for and 5 against. 19.
17. Yeah, it was 17.
Yeah, on the date of the 17th, agenda item 19, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Your motion's made for consent agenda. If whoever makes the motion for this date, with the minutes amended as discussed.
I got a question on 19.
Yes, sir.
It's the approval of the Bledsoe parking lot
That's correct.
for 161K.
Yes, sir.
Can we even do that? Have we got with TCEQ?
I'm sorry?
Have we, TCEQ said that we could go ahead with this?
No, they did not. No. TCEQ doesn't have jurisdiction of anything under disturbance of under an acre, but Haney Consulting did a complete drainage study of the entire area, and so everything was good. It's approved by our engineering. Wayne can probably address that anymore. So we didn't need TCEQ, but we're going to get a SWIP permit, and everything else is in order.
So this was a CIP project, right?
That's correct. It's a parkland dedication project, sorry.
I just kind of like to have a conversation about it. That's a lot of money for 52 parking spots.
It's actually a lot better than we spent $245 on 45 spots on the north end.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's how much it costs to do
Yeah,
that.
but I mean, could we do gravel? Could we do?
I don't think you would want to do gravel. This is, our soccer program and all the other programs are continually expanding every season. We're basically out of parking area. They are still trying to park along Baghdad Road, which presents safety issues. And I've seen them even this fall doing that on Saturday mornings. So this will help as we continue to grow.
Yeah, I don't. Can we pull it off the consent and just put it on the regular?
Sure.
Because I don't want to vote for this. Yeah, it's just too much money for me. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not. I just don't feel good voting for it.
How many spaces?
So,
About 52 spaces, yeah.
so Mark, does that translate to when we can have more room, more people, does that translate to more income, more revenue as well?
Well, it will for soccer. And, yeah.
So in long term, it
Absolutely.
could pay for itself? Okay.
And we renegotiate those contracts every year with our soccer association too, based on number of players. So.
Okay, so it's not a cost without a return?
Correct.
I'll be screwed.
It's about
It is what it is.
3,100. 3,100
okay.
parking
Yeah, it's okay.
spaces.
Yeah,
They were low bid.
It's less
So-
than we anticipated.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking it some of the projects I've seen in the past were closer to 2,000 per parking spot. But it's, I mean, you put it out to bid, so you know it is crazy expensive for parking, but
That come with the valet?
It does not.
We can arrange that for
Sorry.
the mayor and council. It'll be a
There you
special,
go.
special bus that we'll bring.
Oh, yeah. Checks in the mail, Gordon.
Just as a note for council, whether it's this project or any other project, right now, everything is priced at a premium due to supply and demand. I mean, it's crazy out here. I mean, there's not enough contractors to go around, there's not enough contractor staff to go around, there's not even enough engineers to go around to do the private work that's being proposed and desired by folks. So that's, I'm not commenting on the merits of this issue, but just letting you know that prices are significantly higher than we have seen them in the past.
Can I go back to 15? And I don't know who will take this one, just the, this wasn't on the unfunded or anything. This is something that's been planned for a while.
That's mine, yes.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Yes, it's been planned for a while. It's been in the CIP book. We've done
Okay.
phase 1 already of
Okay.
this project in 2017 or so.
So
This is phase 2 of it.
it doesn't affect expanding the plan at all?
No,
So,
it improves its efficiency
Okay.
by adding more aeration, bacteria.
you can go
growth.
swim in it now?
Oh, I would not swim in that.
But it's a much more efficient aeration system than the original system design, which was a nightmare, very
Okay.
inefficient. I don't know what the payback is on this, but there will be a payback with lower energy costs and more effective, more efficient aeration.
Okay.
16, 16 with the sidewalks, who's that?
That's me.
Okay, so where exactly is that from?
This is from Lion Drive to Horseshoe, right here on Southwest Drive.
Okay,
Kind of close to the middle school that's there. It's on the west side.
it's on the west side,
On the west side. There's a lot
so I'm
of,
gonna be Scrooge again. Since we already have sidewalks on the other side and we already have crossing guards that are posted, there's no housing in there. You have the elementary school, which stops. What's the purpose of putting the sidewalk right there, right now?
well, it's funded by Campo, so we already have the grant money. So if that helps with the money issue. So this is funded by Campo.
So that 84,000
So the
come from
80
Campo?
80% of it is. We're on the hook for 20% of the whole.
Of the 84,000, or the 84,000, the 20%?
No, 84,000 is the cost for
Total
the
cost.
engineering.
So they're gonna
of
pay
the
80% of that?
projects. And they'll pay 80% of
Okay.
that, and we pay 20. And
Okay.
then the same will apply to the construction costs.
Okay.
I mean, there's a reason.
I'm
going
sorry,
to
y'all,
the
I'm
needs.
Scrooge McDuck,
No,
that's
I'm
what it
sorry.
is. You better get used to it. Right?
So I had a question on 20, pretty much the same deal. So we've got $79,000 for the Hero Way trail design.
That's correct.
Oh,
That's a sidewalk, correct?
It's connects into the trail along where on ACC and goes down along Hero Way and connects into the CTMRA shared pedestrian path. Yes, ma'am. And it's a bond project.
Okay, isn't there already a connection over by the bridge? I'm trying to, okay, no, sorry, where am I?
The bridge that you're between the trails of Leander and the next set that's being constructed now, there is a 10-foot walkway on the bridge, but there's this gap between Leander Station and the bridge, and then there's another gap after Trails of Leander.
Okay, what street is this? I'm not seeing,
Is that Mel Mathis?
I'm assuming it's Mel Mathis.
Sorry, let me get a little
That's
closer.
okay, I'm just trying to see where we're at. Here's Hero Way, here's 2243. Yeah, but where's Mel Mathis? Okay,
No, that's not, that's Hero Way, this is 2243.
Right.
Hero Way's right here, this is the project. And there's a bridge that comes in about right here, so it does entail part of that. The bridge has already got the section on there, and then it comes all the way down to this point that connects into the shared use pass.
okay, this is Mel Mathis. I'm sorry, I was thinking that was 183. Okay, so,
There's a section right in here,
okay,
and section on there that's not highlighted.
Okay.
That's what you're missing.
The townhomes that are being built,
They're right
okay,
in here.
did they have to put money in?
They did, they already put their share of the trail, and the trail all the way down along the edges of part of the property.
Okay,
So this is what ties in, because the trail comes in all the way through here, connects over here, and sidewalk, so you go all the way from Shady Pass, all the way into the T-Road.
and so why wouldn't we just wait until this develops and make them pay for it?
I don't know when that would be.
Okay.
It may be an option, but this was a bond project.
I didn't know.
I'm gonna request these two be pulled and put on the regular,
Which one?
19 and 20.
Well, but did you hear what he said? It was an already approved
I know,
bond.
I just,
Yes, sir.
Just for the sake of everyone, when we get a grant,
Yes.
what does that lock us into? What,
It depends on the grant.
is it a federal grant, is it a state grant?
This one's funded through Campo. It's managed or oversight by TxDOT. So a lot of the projects are roadways or trails or, but anyway, this one is an 80-20 split. If you do like safe routes to school, stuff like that, they'll be 100% funded. So it's just kind of depends on.
Okay, so
And
it's,
anytime you
really
want to go to a Campo
It's
meeting,
state,
the last one on Monday was 7 hours,
yeah,
so
I would love to,
you probably need to understand more about what they do.
probably
It
should.
would be very helpful.
Thank you, I appreciate that opportunity.
so I would like to
Okay,
request
someone
that,
pull his caffeine. He's having
I'd like to
that.
request that 19 and 20 be pulled from the consent and placed on the regular agenda.
Okay.
What is the implication of not following through on a bond-approved item?
That is a bond council question ultimately, and the finance director may be able to help me a little bit with this, but I think you would have to, I think you could refund the bonds at some point. If the bonds have been issued but not spent, then you've got some ability to do something about that. If the bonds have been issued, and the money's spent, I think there's
Right.
some limitations there. But if the bonds have been approved by the electors and that you haven't sold the bonds yet, then you've got even more flexibility with whether to spend the monies or not. Those are the three kind of broad
Robert Rules.
categories.
So with the park bonds, the ballot was generic, so they can be, even though the bond task force came up with a list of projects and a dollar amount, that did not translate into the ballot.
Yes.
So we're not bound by those projects nor those individual dollar amounts, but as long as it's fits the ballot language and the ordinance language of park improvements.
Yeah.
The transportation bonds were written differently, and those 7 or 8 projects were specifically called out. So on the transportation bonds, you don't have to build every one of them, but you can't go outside that list. But the park bonds are generic.
You could just move from one park to the other. And instead of using it on Park A, move it all to Park B.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's at council discretion.
Yeah.
but
But things that were approved specifically, you can only spend that on that specific item.
so for street improvements, the one I was asking about, the Hero Way Trail design, that's not listed here under the proposition.
It was in the park
Oh, that's considered a park,
for the trail.
even
yes.
though it's a sidewalk,
Yes.
a 10-foot wide sidewalk.
Trail.
Trail.
Shared use.
Like that,
There were a number of trails in the park property, task force recommendation.
Do
Interesting.
we have to do 10-foot sidewalks?
Oh, please.
I'd like to do 12.
Oh, well, I bet you'd like to do 14.
Because
14?
I'll meet you in the middle at 4.
I'd just like to say, if we draw names for Christmas gifts, will you please buy mine?
I don't care.
Just kidding.
Y'all been having way too many Christmases around here.
It's a multimodal
Yeah,
transportation.
just the reason it's that wide is hike and bike. For bicycles,
sure.
walkers, and all those things. But,
Sure.
I'm just,
Yeah.
that's the reason it's that wide. If it's just for a sidewalk, it wouldn't be that wide.
I remember the first vote when I got on council was for a traffic light, and it was $450,000, and I was like,
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
is there a person up there switching the lights back? What is
Payroll.
$450,000? Crazy. Anyway. All right, so we will move 19 and 22 regular agenda. So moving to the regular agenda, the next one, which would be 21. Is there any question about that? Second, we're okay? All right. We can't really talk about the, I would think, the board of directors, can we?
Yeah.
Well,
Just to ask questions.
Yes,
we
question.
can't say, can I say, would you support, would everybody support so-and-so?
For the regular.
Yeah, regular.
Yeah.
No, I want to understand what
What is it we're doing?
what exactly are we doing there? 'Cause
Williamson
it looks like
County
there's-
Appraisal District Board of Directors, and
Okay.
you have the right to cast so many votes for people, or you can set your own.
So they have to total 85, we could say this person gets one vote and then divide the 84 between everybody else? Is that how that works?
You're already out of my league. I think you could.
Yeah, you could.
I think you can,
Okay.
yes.
So not all board members are created equal, is what we're saying.
Well, if you
Well, if
really
you
wanted
choose to
one
split-
person on,
Yeah, if you want to split the votes, you can do that.
Okay, so we've got 6 names and there's 5 available. 5, is that right? So one
Yes.
person that's on that list will not go through. So really, we're voting on who's not going through. Kind of.
Or we can say we want all
Or you put all
85
your
votes
votes
to
on
go on.
John Doe, if you want
Yeah.
to, and not,
Oh, and only have one person?
Right.
So we could
No, no,
have
no.
just one person.
it just means that
That
all
has
85,
85
if you wanted to
votes.
make sure that
Yeah,
this
and just
person got on.
Theoretically,
Yeah.
do we need to put 5 people through, meaning one person won't? Can we put 3, just, again, hypothetically, not thinking of anybody, 3 people, it's confusing.
let Robert go through the vote tally. It's a little,
So, there are a total of 5,000 votes. So
you got 85
the
votes.
Yeah, I
school
saw
dis-
the total.
the school districts are gonna be the kingmakers on how they vote, really, for all intents and purposes. And doesn't have to be this way, but I think historically Leander has cast their 85 votes for one candidate. But that, you don't have to do that. I mean, it's,
Okay, because we've got incumbents on there, so somebody's leaving if we only put one person through there.
well, but it's.
But you've only got 85 votes out of
5,000.
Right.
5,000, so your 85 is not going to put somebody over the finish line. Somebody else is going to vote for them too. So,
So we put our number down and then collectively,
and they'll see what kind of numbers came out
We can
for
decide.
everybody else.
Yeah,
so we can talk about that and all agree, and
sure.
Sure.
one person fills out the paperwork and that's it. We're not all doing a vote on our own.
No. It's a vote from the council.
From the council.
From the council.
And you have that number of
Yeah.
votes to cast, whether it be for 1 or 5.
Okay. Okay,
But
so
as Robert
somebody
said,
figure
the
it out.
school
and make a
districts,
motion.
because of their tax roll things, really control the votes on the president district board.
Say that again?
The school districts, because their tax levies
Right.
actually control, the board
Okay.
votes.
Okay, so moving right on. 23, we won't really get into probably. How about 24?
24, that's me, I think.
Yes, it
Yep.
is.
So what we brought forward to you, and, when we did the budget, I've probably been here a month and a half, and there are a couple of really weaknesses, I think, in our staffing. One's in the city secretary's office, and the other's in building inspection. Right now, we're borrowing Stephanie from the fire department. She's been very good to let us do that. She's also doing some extra duty in the fire, so she's kind of rotating. You know what the volume is in the building inspection department. I don't know if you guys got this or not, but our inspections from 2016 went from 39,000 to 2017 to 61,000, still 61 in 2018. 2019, just through September, was 51,000, and we're estimating 68,000 through December. And that average is kicking up to about 5,000 inspections per month. So one more person may not solve the entire problem, but it'll certainly get us more inspections done. Linda can add to that, perhaps, if she has.
Yeah, any question, we'll be happy to answer.
As far as where the money's coming from versus the first time, is that, are you taking from somewhere else to put
No, that'd be
into
a
this?
budget amendment, Robert, isn't that correct?
Yes, since we're so early in the fiscal year, it's too early to project a surplus in any revenue stream now. Historically, because we try to be conservative on our revenue estimates, historically we do run a surplus, but we don't know that till March or April. So the resolution or the budget ordinance is written to appropriate these funds out of the general fund balance. But if history's any guide, middle of the year we'll have some surpluses somewhere, knock on wood.
So theoretically, it would just probably take a little off the surplus.
Or off the ending cash balance,
Yeah.
basically, is
Yes.
what it would do,
Yeah.
yeah. And the same on the deputy city secretary. Now, Stephanie's got some background too in HR, and so that's also a place we're really weak, and so she's helping in several areas, which she'll be doing deputy city secretary, HR, which she's done some work there, and until they get somebody hired to fire, she'll also be doing fire assistant. She did all the open records for fire and a lot of other documentation in there. I'm very comfortable that these are two positions we really, really need.
Yeah, awesome.
Is this where you said it might dip below the 25%?
Well, because of where we are in the start of the budget year, because the way we put the budget together is surplus above the 25%, we budgeted for capital improvement projects. So until we start exceeding our revenue estimates, this would theoretically dip us below, and the charter says that's what has to be a vote of council.
So below could be 1%, or were you talking 23%, 24%? Because that's pretty big.
Oh, our 25% is close to $10 million.
Yeah, it's
So
money
100,000.
set aside in reserve.
In reserve, our savings.
Right, that's right, that's right. For
So-
emergencies, more than likely, you know.
So this is a very tiny percent.
Tiny.
Yeah, it would not- yeah,
Okay,
very
so
tiny.
24.7.
And what Robert's saying,
Okay.
and I know the way he budgets, you know, we'd anticipate without some
Sure.
crisis that this will just can be absorbed into the revenues versus expenditures at the end of the year. You won't really transfer anything out of the reserve fund. So this will just be a budget amendment to this budget
Okay.
for those amounts.
Okay.
I know it's needed.
All right, so 25, anybody have any questions there? Okay.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a representative from Capcom here this evening. So I think, Mark, you're on that committee? Yeah.
Yep. It's an annual participation that the cities, there's 22 local government entities that put in a per capita share into the air quality mission, I guess. It was all in that attachment under Capcom. And it does a bunch of different things just to try to keep that on everyone's forefront. And they run tests and they make, from, I guess he can say better than I can, but from what I gather, when you hear today's about air quality action day, these money is going towards that sort of testing. We'll let him answer the question.
Yeah, I
It's
think-
something we've done every year. Doesn't mean we have to do it again, and I know it's good to question it.
But we're primarily testing our air, and if it works well, it's going to keep us out of attainment, which is where Austin is. And so attainment can be one county around the core county, which is gonna be in, I always get it wrong, it's either non-attainment or attainment, whatever the proper term is. We are not in that position at this point. So that's why you wanna monitor, so you can prove that your pollution and things like that are not exceeding whatever the standard should be. So that's the reason you try to do that.
Insurance.
Well, if you go to attainment, then your speed limit slow down, you're gonna have to get different gas perhaps, and all those things. So it's a big deal. When I was in the Dallas area, nobody could get out of it, and so every one county all around Dallas was in the same boat they were. So if you come into Dallas County on 35, your speed immediately drops from 70 to 55 or whatever the speed limit is, and that's for pollution. So, fortunately, we got pretty clean stuff around here, so hopefully we can stay out of it. But it is, like somebody says, kind of an insurance policy, so you can prove where you
And to
are.
go do something like that on our own, I'm sure would cost
Well, yeah,
more
oh,
than
yeah, yeah. I don't think we'd ever have the
Correct.
ability
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, their annual budget's over 400,000.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is just a
I saw
little
that.
piece from
430.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, 26. Mark?
26 is, we discussed this at our CIP meeting a few weeks ago. Pretty in-depth, gave quite a bit of information, showed some nice potentials for the area behind City Hall. We are seeking funding for design and engineering at this time only. It's not to exceed the 150. We've got a quote from half to do the design and engineering construction documents at 148. It's about 12% of their estimated cost of the project. And so we're looking to move this forward too.
Let me ask you a question. I don't know who would be the best person to field this, but, you know, at one time, there was a discussion about possibly building a city hall in the back, right? So I find it difficult to believe that we would have a parking, because if you go out there today, for instance, today, there's no parking. So theoretically, you build a city hall that your police department, for instance, could be a part of, and there's no parking for the people that are here now. So you lose a lot of the efficiencies that really is part of the reason we're even talking about a new city hall, is to combine people into one building. And I don't foresee that there's enough parking today to even cover what we have now, you know?
Yeah, if you expanded here, and they're not very attractive, but you have to do some kind of above-ground parking,
Yeah.
just to meet whatever our codes say for the number of parking spots that government needs. So, yeah, parking's an issue.
You'd almost have to get rid of that whole building over there and build up,
Which one
right?
over,
I mean,
you
that's
talking
what
about the EMS?
you're building.
Oh, well, do it after next month.
It might fall down next month. May do us a good, strong storm
I'll see what I can do.
on your way out.
Right.
A big bang.
Right.
I know when you think about, you know, we talked at the unfunded CIPs about some of the things that are going to happen eventually. When you talk about expanding the treatment plant, you lose the gun range. You know, you talk about expanding the police force anyway, or the building anyway. But if you moved them together, and theoretically you have a gun range in the basement, which a lot of city halls do, how many acres, any estimate, just ballpark, 3 acres, 5 acres, do you need to build a city hall that could house everybody?
Our prelim estimates are showing 9 to 10 acres over the next 5 decades, and that's going vertical. So and this is all prelim.
With a vertical parking garage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now,
Or underground.
So theoretically, though, if we were in Northline and they already have structured parking,
then you get good on the shared use.
Okay.
Because we use it during the day, they use it at night for
Okay.
multifamily, that type of thing.
We just need to get credit for the use.
You won't need as many.
no, you don't need as much.
Yeah, you probably have to supplement
Yeah.
their parking, for example, to get, kind of rent that space.
Yeah. So like if we had, because I think we could probably squeeze 5 out of him, you know? I don't know about 10.
And
I
it
mean,
just
we'd have
depends
to
how
pay
much we
for it.
put in there and how far in advance we want to go.
Okay,
And if we want to lease space, have a developer partnership where we lease space with an option to buy every 5 years.
I know
or
Kyle
something.
does that.
Yep.
They're doing that right now, as
So
a matter of
how
fact.
far out will he build? He's
Okay.
gonna wanna- But a developer will want to give you his ideas on where he wants to be
Right.
so he can lease that space.
Right,
So, but I'm assuming we would want to stay central core for City Hall. We don't want to get off
right,
in the perimeter.
right.
So, but
They'll stick us in the floodplain or something.
we hope not.
Mayor, I don't know if you've talked to Turnberg about
I
it.
have.
Okay. Yeah,
He actually is available to come give a presentation or be part of a workshop where we could discuss this. So I think that would be a good idea.
Well, we've had some of the same discussions because, it's not a new topic. It's something that's
Right.
been talked about for a while. And, and I asked him about the donation of property. He was adamantly against that. So that's why I asked if we.
He was against donating the property?
Yes, sir.
Which early on,
He told me.
We're starting
He
to
told me
get
that
off
was
topic.
the-
Okay, yeah,
we
we're
need to
okay.
stay on.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Get back to the park.
He's made that statement.
Thank you.
Is that what we started, the park? We started the park, so.
Yeah.
Then we got into parking, and now we're,
Thank you.
You're just trying to determine
I
what
think
the
that
appropriate use for that.
Yeah.
park.
The reason is because to consider something like this, I think that the reason it got off topic is because we want to know that there's some type of potential plans to go somewhere else and to do something else, rather than to go, spend money on the park and do all these things and then maybe have to use that as a different
and
use
not,
at some
and not
point.
having
Right.
space.
And we don't want to do that and not have enough space, or have to buy up space with the.
Somewhere else.
After we improve the property and improve everybody's home values around, then we gotta go buy that space at a higher price per square foot.
Price ourselves out of a hole.
Right. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions about this? So this authorizes the preliminary plans and getting those done, and then you come back to us with,
What's the cost? That's correct.
okay.
Yeah,
What's
it's
the
approved.
cost of the preliminary plans? Like
It
what
was
are,
Like 150,000,
so where we'd be okay in $150,000 to be spent on this stuff?
just on the plan.
Right.
Wait, are we okaying the RFQ? Or, okay, so we're not
Well, you're
approving.
approving an RFQ, but there's a cost related to half developing the plans, and that costs about $150,000.
No, I think we're
If you don't want to
talking
do the
about-
park, you shouldn't vote to do the plan.
Wait,
Right,
but,
that's
yeah,
what I'm
But I
saying.
think we're talking about, the question is, are we awarding to HAF directly, or are we issuing an RFQ to consider all options in park design?
Well, yeah, let me rephrase it. Yeah, we can't just give it to
Right.
half.
Right.
We'd have to go out for
Right.
RFQs, but their estimate was about $150,000 to do the plans.
That's correct, 148.
So the RFQ would not
Change.
cost us money.
Issuing the
little staff,
RFQ
no.
doesn't cost money. At the other side, we would negotiate with whoever was high score.
Right,
that's correct.
Kind of like the comp plan.
But it's good to
that you
have a
did.
benchmark figure of where you're headed, so.
but again, tonight, we're not approving the $150,000. We're giving staff
That's what we're
direction to
To
move
get
forward.
the, yeah, to get the RFQ.
Yes.
Then at some point, 60, 90 days probably, then they come back and you have to decide if you want to spend
Sure.
that 120, 150, whatever it is.
Okay,
Makes sense.
thank you.
I didn't understand the question. I apologize. We finally got it back to the right place.
Okay. All right, so 27?
To Robert.
Yes.
So 27 is what's known as a bond reimbursement resolution, so it is purposely placed after 26. The way the resolution is, well, let me back up. Bond reimbursement resolutions allow you to spend money today from wherever you have it, and then when you issue debt in the future, you can repay wherever you borrowed, wherever you spent the money originally. So you started on a project with general funds or park dedication funds or, utility revenues, and then at some point you're ready to issue the debt, you can reimburse those other funds. If you don't announce your intention, then you can't do that. So, well, there's some IRS nuances, but generally you can't do that. So this doesn't commit you. You could decide in the future that whatever you spent is all well and good, and you don't want to borrow money to pay that back. You want to borrow less and just go forward. So you're not bound to use any or all of this reimbursement, but it gives you the ability to in the future. The way the resolution is drafted, it is enough for the anticipated Lakewood stage project, and if you intend to even contemplate number 26, the Old Town Park, it covers design and an anticipated construction. So that's why you see the resolution written for $3.5 million. You put a very large number in there, but it's a cap. It just allows you in the future to reimburse yourself. So
What's the lifespan of the resolution?
It's in the resolution. It's like 36 months after the expenditure.
There's three different,
So 18 months, 36 months, and 5
Yeah.
years.
but let me ask you, what is the reason for borrowing from this bucket versus going ahead and issuing the already approved park bond to pay for them?
But we haven't issued those bonds yet.
Okay,
That's the point.
How much is left in those bonds?
yes.
About $12 million in park bonds.
Well, there you go, Mark.
Zero-way trail with a.
There you go, Mark. $11
Robert,
million, man.
if, let's say that resolution
Go
is
on.
passed, and then for some reason we don't go forward, let's say in the park, then you're not spending that money. You just have authorized doing that, and for some reason your mind changes, or you don't even spend it on the RFQs. Once you get those, say maybe the RFQ's $450,000,
Yeah.
which it won't be.
Right,
And we're not doing that. Well, you've not committed to spend the $450.
right.
You've just given him the opportunity to be able to.
And this is an IRS, hoop you have to go through. But there have been a number of occasions where we have asked the council to pass these type of resolutions and never needed to use it. For whatever reason, no significant dollars were spent on the project before we issued the debt, so there was no need to reimburse anything. But it makes a lot of sense financially to get deeper into the project so you know your really hard costs and you have engineers that have really designed the project, and so you then borrow what you really need to, rather than estimate with preliminary drawings what you think you need, and then you borrow too much or you borrow too little. So if you're going to tiptoe in these projects, I think this is a good way to go. You're not bound to do this, but if you don't do it, you can't later change your mind.
So, let me ask you a question and put on your galoshes and come into the weeds with me. So, when you looked at parkland dedication, which I think last year was $880,000 that we brought in from parkland dedication fees, I remember seeing that.
It might have been the year before.
Maybe it was the year before.
We've had good years, and
Okay. And being that most of those came from certain types of development, right? And since we have more planned and platted already, did we already kind of count on that amount for this year? And is that in the budget for parks already, or is that a surplus that just, it comes and it's great, we can go shopping? Where?
We budget for one moderately sized apartment complex
Okay.
per year.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so,
So if you have two, you've got more.
so the second one is extra. That year, I think you're referring to, we might have had three.
And the fifth one.
But this past year, we had one, but it came in the first week of October, which missed the fiscal year, but it still happened, so.
Okay. So, I mean, if we know that there are X amount in the pipeline for this year, is there any way to kind of come up with an amount that we could assign to those? Or does it not work that way because of timing and how long it takes once they submit a plan to actually write a check for parkland dedication? See what I mean?
Is there any
Not
way to
really.
kind of forecast it and say, this year we're
Yeah.
planning on having 5 apartment complexes come online. We estimate $2 million in
Right.
parkland dedication fees.
Which would pay this back.
Which would pay this back. Is there any way to do some sort of forecasting like that?
Oh, absolutely. If the question is, would you do that in lieu of this reimbursement resolution?
No,
Okay.
just as a,
Perhaps a way to pay it back.
yeah, just so everybody understands, we more than likely have enough coming already in the pipeline to pay this back without,
I believe you could amend during the regular meeting, amend the ordinance amending the budget to add increasing the revenue estimate for parkland dedication fees. Understand? It says to discuss amending the budget. So, one good apartment or one
yeah.
moderately sized apartment complex can generate $350,000 in park dedication
Wow.
fees.
We can get us a new city hall the way it's been going.
So you're saying on item number 24, when we're making an amendment to the budget, we can request that you also amend the anticipated revenue.
Okay.
Did I say that right?
Okay. Any more questions on that? Okay, so we'll move on. 28 is being pulled. So that will be coming up on a future agenda. TBD. All right, so 29.
29 is our golf course easement. We're requesting that we've been working with Brookfield LLC, Residential LLC, for several months. It's about 0.6 of an acre, 27,000 square feet of property. Comes right along just a couple of feet off the golf cart barn, all the way down to the practice green, and then cuts back over. You've got a map in front of you, I think a couple of maps actually. And so what we're looking at is the purchase of that easement, and then also the installation of a screening wall, type screening wall along the western edge of the property between the home, the potential home, the future home, and the cart barn. And then on the back side facing the golf course will be a fence, aluminum decorative type fence that you see in and around the golf course currently around homes. So we're seeking approval to move forward with that at a little over $64,000. The breakdown, the easement is basically $33,910, and the screen and the fence come to about $30,988. The total is $664,898. And to go ahead and get that out of the way, because the downside, if we don't, we will lose the entrance to and the area for our cart washing. We will have to relocate cart washing. We'll have to relocate several other items like our grease trap, those type of things. We would probably have to construct another cart washing area with a drain, and also potentially another entrance, so a garage door entrance where you won't be coming in the backside. It may be coming in on the side, the south side, or it could be even from another angle. But so when I did most of the math, the easement seemed fine. Of course, Wayne and I worked on this a little bit together, and I appreciate his help. But they have offered to, of course, we're paying for it, but they've offered for their crews to do the screen wall and the fence. When I checked prices, it would be better let them go ahead and do that. That's why we wrapped it into one, rather than us going out, spending our time getting all the quotes, getting all the things together, and then issuing that separately. So that's why we brought it to you.
So this is property that I believe the city believed they owned until it was platted
was.
by,
They've been using.
yeah,
Yep.
till the new owner, and then we found out their property encroached in these areas. And so we're just trying to reacquire the property that the survey showed was not ours.
We could have negotiated a lower price had we mounted a huge spotlight right there, facing west.
We'll take that under advisement. See what we come up with on that. But that's that one.
Okay.
Those walls, are those subject to inspection, Linda?
I'm sorry.
How tall are they? The block walls?
I don't know.
Yeah, if they're not
I think it was
retaining,
a 6 foot
no.
tall wall.
Okay.
yeah, if
Because
they're
we're
retaining
saying
walls,
their crews are going to build them, correct?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if they're retaining walls, then definitely would have to have engineering and have permits on that.
That's
Be
also,
exempt,
is it
but-
over 48 inches is what it is now?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure
Alright,
that I want to make sure that we're getting good. If it's not us controlling it.
Yeah, if it's just a screen wall,
Yeah, it's good.
But it'll be inspected.
yeah.
So,
Well, oh yeah, our city crews be
Right,
looking at it for
right.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, we got 10 minutes. 30,
Item number 30 is the public information ordinance amendment, and it does primarily two things. The state law authorizes cities to designate one mailing address and one email address for open records requests. And so to help staff manage receipt and response to open records requests, this ordinance does that. It authorizes the city manager to designate those addresses and have them posted on the website. So that way, if something changes from time to time, you don't have to bring it back to council every time. There are other methods of submitting open records requests that are authorized by state law that we can't change, and so that list is comprehensive of what's allowed by state law. The other thing that this ordinance does is it updates the fee schedule for public information request charges you can city can charge for responding to open records requests, and this just adopts what state law allows. There were some conflicts between what was in the ordinance and state law, so this updates those fees, and it also, in the event that state law changes, your ordinance says that we default to state law. That way we don't have to, we could bring it back to council for a cleanup, but then you won't be behind if there's a state law change on those charges.
Do we know what the average somebody's gonna have to pay for or?
What the average is, I don't have that information.
Okay.
It would just depend on the request, on the size of the request.
Okay.
But this is the same formula allotted to all cities in the state of Texas?
Correct.
Okay. So we're not adding anything new, we're just actually, yeah, implementing something that other cities have been doing.
Is this normal?
Yes, the cities.
It's like
will-
cities all across Texas are doing this.
They've been doing it.
Yeah, it's cities are charged for public information requests. It's a very common practice.
Now, why was it that we didn't do this last time it came before us?
I don't, which part?
The fees? Because this came in front of us like 7 months ago?
I don't know.
All right, 31.
It's on the email server policy.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
okay.
that's-
So the purpose of this email, I'm sorry, my computer died.
Yeah, you need to get over here with the.
Yeah, you need my
Um,
seat open too.
So the email server policy applies only to the Barracuda software. This policy updates to include the text archiving software that y'all have recently acquired and implemented.
It also authorizes.
And it authorizes additional staff within the city secretary's office to access the archiving software to respond to open records requests. It would include all the people in the city secretary's office to do so. So that way you can use your personnel within that office.
So the new employee that we have to pay for,
And they're all trained.
right,
All have gone through all the right now, if Dara's out of town, nobody can access it.
right, got it.
So the other solution is not let her go out of town.
Well, chain her to a desk.
All right, are we good?
Oh, we are.
All right, thank you very much, staff. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Time is 6:52. We are adjourned. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Leander City Council. Today is Thursday, November 7th. The time is 8 after 7. And at this time, we have Chaplain Adams that's going to come up and do our invocation. Please remain standing for the pledges of allegiance.
Dear Father in heaven, we ask your blessings and guidance for tonight's meeting. We ask that you bless those attending and give patience to all parties bringing their business before the council tonight. As always, we ask that you bless the people of Leander, our first responders, and our military who keep us safe. We ask this in your name. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under that Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Thank you, Chaplain Adams, and your family. We're very excited about your family coming out. So bye, girls. You come back. All right. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. All right. Ms. Crabtree, if you could do the roll call.
Councilmember Catherine Battalion Parker. Here. Councilmember Michelle Stevenson. Councilmember Jason Shaw.
Here.
Councilmember Christine Setterquist.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Chris Ernick.
Here.
Councilmember Marcy Cannon.
Here.
Mayor Troy Hill.
Here, we do have a quorum. We can do business tonight. So at this time, we're going to move to item 6, public comments, not listed on the agenda. I have a couple people signed up. First, we have, oh boy, I'm going to butcher this one, Makunk Zichi. No? Okay. All right. Stephanie Burkew.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Burkew. I live in Champions Corner in Leander. If I'm not aware of the barriers you face, then I won't see them, much less be motivated to remove them. Nor will I be motivated to remove the barriers if they provided an advantage to which I feel entitled. Robin DiAngelo, White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism. I'm here tonight to actually talk about Priscilla Donovan, who left her position as the director of the Leander Library. Priscilla encouraged and allowed barriers to be torn down for the citizens of Leander. Through supporting the planning and development of the Drag Queen Storytime, which our city canceled. Supporting the planning and running of a graphic novel club, which included an author talk that our city canceled. Supporting the planning and execution of a Pride Storytime that coincided with National Coming Out Day. She again helped to break down barriers. She is an asset that our community will miss. I keep being told that this city is full of good people. She's one of those good people. I challenge each of you to look for the barriers that affect our marginalized citizens and to see how you can work to remove them. And I want to leave you with one last quote, also from White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism by Robin DiAngelo. If I believe that only bad people are racist, I will feel hurt, offended, and shamed when unaware racist assumption of mine is pointed out. If I instead believe that having racist assumptions is inevitable, but possible to be changed, I will feel gratitude when unaware racist assumption is pointed out. Now I am aware of and can change that assumption. Thank you.
Deborah Davis.
Hello, Council. My name is Deborah Davis. I live in North Creek Ranch subdivision, and I've written a letter for two pages, and this represents a lot of the residents that back to the retention pond area in our neighborhood. We, the homeowners, landowners, renters, taxpayers, voters of North Creek Ranch and Northside Meadow subdivision that own homes that back to the water retention pond and acreage located in North Creek Ranch. On October 14th through the 23rd, we were woken up daily by the sound of the City Public Works bringing in dump trucks, loaders, chipper shredders, and employees of the city. We thought they were there to mow the native grasses, which have not been maintained or on a consistent schedule over the last 17 years, unless a homeowner called and complained about the grass being 4 foot tall and growing under our fences. We thought maybe they're finally here to remove the falling tree limbs, remove the trash and debris from the pond that's floating on top of the water and the land, remove the thick green slime from the top of the water that is caused from runoff of pesticides, fertilizers, and toxic chemicals. And because the pond is not drained properly, it's causing it to wash off the soil and causing erosion. This is also migrating ducks, cranes, hummingbirds, and other residents need to be able to land, swim on, drink, and eat from this natural resource. Little did we know, because we were not contacted, that in those 8 days of complete devastation that was taking place right in front of our eyes, every tree was cut down and its root system was violently ripped from its habitat. This pond has naturally made its own environment, ecosystem, over the last 17 years, and has more than 48 animals, mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, amphibians, and microorganisms that live there. I've got a list that you can also look at. I was told that by the supervisor that they were only doing their job according to TCQ's direction for water retention ponds. And I told him I guess I'd have to look up what TCQ stands for and what they're about, and I'm sure would not approve of what was happening here, nor the Environmental Protection Agency. When reading through some of the chapters, I found this. The National Environmental Policy Act of 1969 requires all agencies to go through a formal process before taking action anticipated to have substantial impact on the environment. Was TECQ... Oh, great.
right, at this time, we're going to move to item 7, proclamations. We do have one tonight.
She can leave for those with us.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I make a statement about this first? Just a little one? Okay, I'll just read it. There's the mic. All right, you ready? You ready? Okay. Whereas Karen R. Thompson, a seventh-generation Texan who was born and raised in Austin and has lived more than 62 years in Williamson County and 14 years in the City of Leander, and whereas Thompson served as past President General of the Daughters of the Republic of Texas from 2011 to 2013, in which the organization, among its other duties, still lovingly cared for and maintained the Alamo in San Antonio, Texas. And whereas Thompson served for 25 years on the Williamson County Historical Commission and has written and published 6 books on the history of our region, and whereas her 7th book, titled Historical Leander, Texas, is currently in the publishing process and expected sometime after the Christmas holiday, and whereas the Leander Chamber of Commerce recently named Thompson as the 2019 Citizen of the Year, calling her a true treasure for Leander, and her attention to our past reflects her devotion to our future, and whereas today the City of Leander likewise honors Thompson's service as not only an embodiment of the history of our young city, but also of the prosperity and opportunity that awaits the people of Leander, thanks to passionate efforts of individuals like her. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Troy Hill, do hereby proclaim November 7th, 2019 as Karen R. Thompson Day.
Thank you. I must get a rebuttal to my daughter for some of those pictures, like when I was 10 and 12 and had on that net, whatever for the. Anyway, and I'm not the most graceful person in the world, but I love this one. Y'all realize that's Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Phil Collins. So those pictures I like. Thank you very much. I'm very honored. I was very surprised to be Citizen of the Year, and they did surprise me at the gala. So anyway, now this is doing a school program, bottom left. I know, who is that? So, bottom left, that was at C.C. Mason Elementary. Maybe when this book is done, I'll have a chance to go back to doing the school programs a little bit. But anyway, yes, Phil Collins is not doing as much. That was at the Alamo at the DRT library. And since he gave his collection to the GLO on the that they must build a building for it, and they have failed to build the building, and they've only got about 2 more years, and they don't even have it in the works. So Phil said he would be taking back his collection. So we hope he might give it to the DRT library, which we moved to San Antonio A&M. So anyway, I brought the 1870 census because Kathy said it's council night, and I forgot all about it. And I said, well, I want to do something with this to tell you all about these Baghdad 1870 census and read some of the information there so you get a feeling for the 1870, how that was going. So we'll do that another night. So I thank you very much. I'm sure my Dora's real good. She didn't even run my time. And so I don't want to I don't want to abuse that, and I appreciate this very much. Thank you so much.
Don't say anything. It's not my turn yet. I'm gonna watch.
All right, at this time, we're going to move to staff reports. Mr. Pierce?
Yes, sir. The monthly permit report, I'm pleased to announce that permits are again exceeding preceding years. This month, we issued 474 permits, had 6,283 inspections. Our year-to-date is 4,182 permits and over 57,000 inspections performed. On the single-family permits, we're still exceeding preceding years. This year, we issued 174 this month. 174 single-family permits. October 18, that was 140. So that's almost a 25% increase in those permits. Year-to-date, we're well over 12. I marked through my notes here, but about 15% up year-to-date. ETJ, we had 5 permits this year, didn't have any last year, so that's, the percents are kind of skewed, but our year-to-date's 141 ETJ, and last year was 70 permits, just over a 100% increase. And that's my report.
Thank you, sir. And next, we have Evan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, Council. This is the quarterly report from the Economic Development Department, kind of canvassing the last 3 months. I can tell you the state of the department's in great shape moving forward, carrying out your plans and advocating on your behalf. So tonight, I'd like to go through a few projects currently taking place in the community. Let's see. The image you see here is, of course, St. David's Healthcare. This particular image is of their 60,000 square foot medical office building currently under construction on the north edge of town. It's very far along in the construction phase. They hope to be open and operational sometime in Q1 2020. They are getting solid interest from doctors and physicians and to lease the space, and they're currently about 50% leased up. So that's a great place to be for this project. And of course, just keep in mind the next phase obviously is to start construction on the hospital. So we are all very familiar with the North Line project, and we have great news to report that they are currently, this project will currently go to bid for the horizontal infrastructure for the roads, streets, utilities, sometime before the end of the calendar year. So that is a positive indication moving this project along. Had a great conversation with Mr. Steinberg earlier in the week, and he too obviously is excited to take this from a concept to reality. So everyone that involved with this project is great to see it move forward. The local hotel, and I learned tonight from Ms. Thompson that this is the first hotel in a century in they are very near completion. In fact, they should be done with this project and open sometime mid-December. So again, this is an 84 key or room hotel, and another positive indication that the Leander market is beyond ready for harvest. The gold depository or the Texas Bullion Depository, they're moving right along. This project, of course, is out on Heritage Grove Road. They got power to the building earlier this week. They're in the process of doing hydro mulch, installing the limestone rock you see here in front of the fence. I promise it's in person. It doesn't quite look, this, as I look at this, it kind of looks like a prison, but it's certainly not that. This is your precious metals being stored here.
Are they really going to have a come and take it flag out in the front, or?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Is that a literal request?
Yeah. We will see. But yeah, but what's great, obviously, about this, there's a number of things. The capital investment that they're making in this community is substantial. The jobs that's going to come with this project, to start off with, they're 160 plus. And by the time this obviously has a 380 agreement, and in year 10, I believe, of the agreement, or I don't believe it is, they have to be at 250. So, and we don't set these agreements up for failure. These are kind of the bottom. We expect them to well exceed that number. So, I think you're going to see the daytime population, increase in Leander very soon. Another project that is currently taking place out, it will be. They've acquired the land and hope to move towards site development. Sometime late this calendar year, sometime early Q1 of 2020 is the Liberty Civil Construction firm. Again, another substantial capital investment, over $3 million in improvements to the real property. Also extending the utility infrastructure to a much needed area that will open up other opportunities for development out along Hero Way. So we're excited about that. Also, just like the gold depository, there's 150 new jobs coming to town with this project. So exciting times. A few events coming up. Some of you may have attended this previously. The Austin Business Journal puts on an annual Williamson County Growth Summit. This particular event is going to take place on the 12th of December in Georgetown. It's a luncheon. I believe Ms. Dara has sent out invitations to you guys. We hope you come and listen to what they have to say as far as the latest scoop on Williamson County as it relates to growth in this area. So I think it would be another great opportunity to get a third-party take on what's shaping up to be, an area that's going from a rural to urban very fast. So excited about this event. Also, another event that will be coming up in January is the International Council of Shopping Centers up in Fort Worth, Texas. This is an event that Leander has consistently, I believe, attended in the past. So we're going to go up there along with the Williamson County Economic Development Partnership and have a booth and advocate on behalf of Leander and tell those folks all the great things that Leander has to offer. A few things to round out the report. These are 2020 objectives that were endorsed during the budget process, department objectives that I kind of wanted to touch on and let you know kind of where we're at. We're currently looking at the process of implementing a department strategic plan, just like your comp plan. I believe it's important for the department to have some measurable goals to give staff. Here's what we want to see implemented, and it also allows you guys to give an opportunity to measure us to make sure we're implementing the goals that you've established. So looking to carry that forward. Also revising promoting the Old Town Incentive Program, looking at opportunities that we can really have other businesses really take advantage of that. Since I've been here, I believe we've had one, Fifth Element Brewery, which they've recently been approved their site plan. They're moving forward with their building permit. But I think there's maybe some missed opportunity here to be had with the Old Town Grant Program. Also, the website. This is your front door to economic development in your community. So it's not I would hope we wouldn't treat it as a static page. So we're looking at ways to get creative and update that site. And also here real soon, before the end of the month, you're going to have a drone marketing video that's going to drop. That it's going to be Leander's kind of movie trailer for economic development and community development. So we're real excited about that. So with that ends my department report.
I have a question for you. So, how many calls do you typically, do you get a lot of leads from, the Austin Chamber, or is there anything in Austin that funnels leads out our way?
Yeah, so the Greater Austin Chamber has what they call Opportunity Austin, which is their economic development arm of the chamber. And, on occasion, we get a lead, and sometimes that lead, most of the time, that lead is looking for an existing, large building, 100,000 square foot building, and a lot of times it's geared for manufacturing. So, we do get leads out of the Austin Chamber. We have a dialogue with those folks monthly. We go down and have lunch. They host a luncheon, bring in a speaker. If any of you would like to attend, be more than happy to bring you down there as a guest and kind of give you an idea of what goes on. But we do get leads. A lot of times we're eliminated right off the bat because those type of facilities are in Austin or even south down towards San Marcos and Kyle.
Why is that? Why do we get eliminated right off the bat?
Well, it's because we don't have that existing building here already in place.
So they want to ready to move in.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. At this time, we're going to move to our consent agenda. We do have a request to take 19 and 20 off, so we will be approving 9 through 18. This is an action item.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'm sorry. Councilmember Cannon, if you would include in your motion to approve the amendments to the October 14th and 15th minutes as discussed in the briefing workshop.
Yes, to approve with the amendments discussed in the
Workshop.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll second.
All right. We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right. We're going to move to item 19. Approval of award of bid for the Bledsoe Park parking lot expansion to Coast Construction Incorporated for $161,678 and authorize the interim city manager to execute any and all necessary documents. Who's going to do this one? Oh, Mark.
Oh, my. We don't have time for this.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Bringing to you a previously budgeted and CIP project, Bledsoe parking lot. We have already been through consulting and design and engineering with Haney Consulting. That contract was for $35,000, and now we're requesting award for coast-to-coast construction at $161,678 to complete that parking lot. And we had 7 bids. As you can see from your information that you were provided, the low bid was 161 and ranged all the way up to 198, and so that's where we're requesting your approval to move forward.
Any questions?
Why was this pulled from consent?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any other comments?
How much does a soccer field cost?
The soccer
Just
field,
approximately, a guesstimation.
1.7 million.
Okay.
Was that the original cost or with the turf?
No, that's with the turf. The
With the
turf
turf, okay.
cost a little over $1.7 million. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. All right, we have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion passes 5-1. And we're going to move to item 20, approval of award of a contract for the Hero Way Trail Design and Construction Management Services to KSA for $79,115 and authorizing the interim city manager to execute any and all necessary documents.
This too has been part of the CIP project, Mayor and Council project book. These are part of the bond, general obligation bonds that were passed back in 2016 for this extension that ties basically the ACC campus in with a pedestrian pathway along 183A, and will also connect along Hero Way and make that whole connection through there. We had staff had provided an estimated figure of $459,000 approximately for the total project, and with the design being at $92,000, and KSA we negotiated the fee at $79,115. It leaves us approximately $379 for construction, and so we're making the recommendation to move forward with KSA engineering, design and engineering for $79,115 to do the design and engineering work. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Can you, I'm sorry, so far on this particular project, do we know, has anything been spent?
There is not, no ma'am.
Okay.
This is the initial.
And so for 1,700 linear feet, we're looking at almost $500,000?
Yes ma'am, that's correct.
And
There is quite a bit of drainage work, especially around the bridge areas. That's along Hero Way.
So I think I'd asked you in the briefing session, why wouldn't we wait until whoever's developing on that northwest corner of Hero and 183A until they put in their sidewalk? Why?
Well, one of those is, this has been a planned project for quite some time. We, at this point that I know of, we don't have anyone that's interested. It's still under cattle. It could be several years before that would even happen.
Which
and with the
again
expansion of 183A to the north, all the way to Liberty Hill, they're going to move their pedestrian path all the way from where it terminates right there, all the way up. So this will make a connection from not only south along 183A, but to the north as well.
But so again, along with that thought process that that corner may not develop for, we don't know how long, I just wonder how necessary is it to spend $500,000 on that right now when we have other projects that seem a higher return. I'm sorry, that wasn't a question. Sorry.
I agree.
It's okay.
Who would take this path? Who out there on the east side of the TOD area, who would be on this path? What does it connect to?
This will connect, it actually will make the connection to ACC.
From
183 along Hero Way from 183. So if you're coming north along 183, all the 183 CTMRA pedestrian path now that goes all the way into Cedar Park, all the way down past the HEB Center and everything. So all those residents from the Crystal Falls area can take their bike or walk or hike or jog right up into the campus and then eventually right into North Line.
Okay, but this isn't taking them to North Line or to the campus. This is taking them to 183A.
That's all our section is because the rest of it's already been constructed.
Okay, so you're saying it would serve people along 183A to get them to ACC's
That's
campus?
exactly, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, you said Crystal Falls, so I got confused.
Well, I was just saying down in that general area where a lot of the residential folks are located. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm just trying to understand what it's
Sure.
serving, who it's serving.
Mr. Tummons, I'm with you. I'm kind of with you. I'm trying to look at the map and put it all together, and it's
Okay.
just a
There's a
white
map up
paper
there.
with some lines on it, and I can't see where ACC is and where the apartments are.
Okay.
Can you draw us a picture?
Sure, absolutely.
Just,
So you have,
We need that whiteboard.
I wish we'd put
can
it up
we-
there. I could have.
Mike, can you put that map up?
Sorry. So I can talk about our trail system quite often. You know, I mean, this is something I love and how it interconnects and will eventually make this great network of accessibility or alternative transportation. Not only people on bicycles or people walking to and from work, but this is one of those key components as well.
yeah, I think that's what we need to see, the
Sure.
the connection and the big picture, so to speak, of
They've got this one right here, but it's, pull up the wrong one. I didn't know it was a touch screen. Wow.
The actual trail system map, do you have that somewhere?
Be online. But pedestrian bike plan. Would be under all the plans. Maybe there. We'll get there. Sorry.
No,
It's okay.
I appreciate it.
It's the pedestrian plan. Don't think so. Mm-mm. It's the transportation and pedestrian plan. If you could type that in. Let's try that. Yep. See if we can move in and we have a pointer. Sweet. Okay. But we've got it where. Okay. Yeah. So this is the pointer here.
Oh, wow, okay.
Let me do my bearings first, too. Do I need to stand for the mic? I'm sorry. Thought I might have to. Can we bring it up even larger, Mike?
yeah, Mike.
And quit jiggling so much, you're making me
I'm having a hard time.
We're getting there.
We're going to have to. It doesn't show the streets, does it, too well? Yeah. Okay, let's try that. That's good. Okay, so we're right in here. This is 2243 coming in from the east all the way down into town. Is that?
Okay,
can
and
you see?
183A is which one? Right there?
Here.
Okay.
There's 183A, okay, coming all the way down.
Mhm.
They already have their shared use path. This is the red. It's already constructed.
On the west side?
This is on the west side of 183A. As you can see, there's Crystal Falls. Those are constructed as well. So you come all the way up, and this is where 183A will begin all the way up into Liberty Hill, of course, past our new park. This is yet to be constructed, but it's a part of their planning at this point, and we met with them just a couple of weeks ago. This is the Hero Way section right in here that we're talking about coming in. This little blue trail already exists up and through here. We haven't updated, obviously. It's one of the things Sean and I are working on. This is the Brushy Creek Trail going up. This is the Leander standard, the standard apartments right here on that corner, and ACC is right in this general area. The Nauman property where the trails of Leander are being built are right in this area. Councilman Cannon, this is where that corner is you were talking about. You'll see that. And this is the campus of ACC in this area. Mel Mathis is right in this area. And so, sorry, I have to. Okay. So our connection will connect into here and connect into the trail system. This system then will continue all the way on up, a part of the Brushy Creek. This is a three-prong. This is North Brushy Creek coming all the way up.
And that's already constructed?
It is not. No, ma'am. Now, it is from here, very close to here, all the way through Oak Creek and all the way into Benbrook Park. That's already constructed all the way to this point. We've got some developers doing the trail here and coming up towards the Hero Way intersection and coming back down to come on through here. But this will be a part of the North Line project. Some of that will be, and then we own about 3 acres right in here that will, right in that little confluence that we will put in our part of the trail. And then this trail is already established, and there's 2 prongs of it, one on the north side of Brushy Creek and one on the south. The trails of Leander have already put in their trail. ACC has put in their trail, and so we can already connect to Hero Way from that point. I'm sorry, it sort of doesn't move real well. And then this will connect. What we're looking at is connecting. There's a short little spot right in here, and there's this long stretch right in here that will connect, so you can come all the way on down. Eventually, when this area also sells or develops, this part of Brushy Creek will certainly be developed, and this is so we have this is Mason Creek coming in. This is southwestern property where there's potential activity coming all the way down. We've completed some of the Mason Creek Trail.
Is that complete?
Part of Mason Creek Trail is complete, but not through the southwestern property, no. Not at all. So this is a 3-prong area of trail system coming all the way up. So you can see how it ties in and really helps in this area continue to move this area forward.
So, Mr. Tillmans, the blue dotted lines that you're showing, are those dirt trails, or are they?
No, ma'am.
They're like a sidewalk.
They're
It's
just
a trail.
different types of trails. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes.
Thank you.
No, they're all 10-foot concrete trails right now. Yes.
Are they really?
They are.
I believe there's a little bit of trail behind the standard apartments. Is that not?
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct. They put that in on the south side of Brushy Creek. ACC put theirs on the inside. It does terminate, and so the goal would be to either make it. We already have a low water crossing about 75 feet before the terminus that you can cross over and get on the AC part of the trail and come all the way down to Hero Way past the trails of Leander.
Okay, thank you.
And is this, in your best guesstimate based on what we know today, is that the final section to complete this? Did I hear you say?
It will be along that section of Hero Way, but there's plenty more to be done.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So part of my concern is, we put in a sidewalk on Mel Mathis, and that was not cheap. It was, I think, $800,000 something, and it's going to get torn up with the North Line project. He's putting in the Central Park or Town Center Park, whatever he's going to call it. And we do have limited funds, and so my concern is building things ahead of where development is going. I understand roads. I'm all about roads. But as far as sidewalks and bike path trails that are leading really to an open field right now, and that it's going to be a while before North Line is available, what is our highest and best return on investment for those tax dollars on parks right now today? That's my concern. Not that it doesn't need to happen. I know it needs to happen. But I think sometimes, especially, again, not for roads, but for trails, ahead of where development is, I think where
Well, I certainly understand it's a fair question. I have run this project by our planning department, and Robin and I were able to spend quite a bit of time looking at it and talking about that corner that you're interested in. And because there's nothing today that's anybody's talking about, doesn't mean tomorrow there won't be.
Of course.
But we do know that whatever happens there, the developer would be required to put back the trail. So if there was an entrance, if there was a convenience store, whatever might be going in their apartments, additional condos or whatever, retail, they would be responsible for putting that back, not at our cost, but their cost.
But again, someone's spending money that needs to be redone. And then, which you brought up a good point, is with the Williamson County Road Bond just having been approved, and us knowing that a big exchange is going to be right at that intersection, how do we know that that's not going to need to be torn up with the redesign of Hero Way realignment? With the overpass.
Does it go to 183?
It goes to 183A.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah. What I saw from CTMRA when they were constructing this, that it would not be affected. So.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to deny. All in favor? All opposed? All right. We'll come back to that one.
Yes, not now.
Not opposed forever.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Okay, moving on. Item 21.
Oh, that's not mine. Thank you.
Discuss and consider action on the second reading of an ordinance regarding zoning case 19-Z-007 to amend the current zoning as stated on the posted agenda, commonly known as 401 Heritage Grove Road, Leander, Williamson County, Texas. Mr. Carroll.
Mayor, Council, good evening. This is the second reading as required. I'm available for questions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve with a second. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Carroll. Item 22, discuss and consider action on a resolution casting its votes for the Board of Directors of the Williamson Central Appraisal District. Mr. Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. Every 2 years, the Board of Directors for the Williamson Central Appraisal District Board is up for election by the taxing entities in Williamson County. All taxing entities are assigned a number of votes based on their pro rata share of the tax burden in Williamson County. or 5,000 total votes to be cast. For the Board of Directors, the City of Leander's share is 85. The council, by resolution attached in your packet, may allocate your votes to one or more of the nominees. And 4 of the 5 incumbents have been renominated. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Council, I definitely would like to nominate John Lux to one of the positions. So however that's allocated, whether it's a...
And I'll second. Are you making a motion, or is this a discussion?
Yeah, I guess a discussion as to how many votes.
Okay.
So it's 4 positions.
I thought it was
right?
5.
There are 5
or
positions,
5 positions. Okay.
on the board.
There's no one in Leander. No. And I believe Mr. Chadwell was on the Round Rock School District previously, Mr. Heisel, LISD, Mr. Honeycutt also served on ISD. That's just, observation.
Mr. Honeycutt was also a Round Rock City Council member from 2005 to 2011, and Round Rock ISD Partner of the Year, I guess.
Would you like him included on the list?
How about just the 2 of them? Split the 85 between 2.
That's your,
Right.
yeah. Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
I'll second.
All right.
Which gets 43 votes?
John Lux. So the motion is 43 for John Lux and 42 for Mr. Honeycutt. And we have a second. All in favor? All right. Passed unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Powers. All right. 23. Discuss and consider action on appointment of an approval of letter agreement with Independent Ethics Council. Ms. Sines.
Mayor and Council, the Ethics Commission has been served in the past by Greg Hudson. He has decided to cut back on some of his work obligations, and so he has sent a letter advising the city of that, and has also expressed his appreciation for allowing you to serve him in that regard. The charter requires the Ethics Commission to be advised by an independent legal counsel that's nominated by the city attorney and then authorized by the city council. Who I have recommended for you for consideration is Monty Akers. He is an attorney who has a long career representing cities. He serves as ethics counsel for the city of Kyle, and he has agreed to hold his rates at the same rate that our firm currently charges for the city for general counsel services, which is $150 an hour. And I can answer any questions you may have.
Is that less than you charge?
It's
I'm
the
sorry?
same amount. Don't answer that, Paige.
That's a deal.
That is a deal.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion and a second for approval. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Sines. All right. Item 24, discuss and consider action on an ordinance amending 19-056-00, which adopted the annual budget of the City of Leander, Texas for fiscal year 2020. Mr. Pierce.
Council, what we're asking is to amend the budget and allow for for 2 positions to be in this current budget. One would be in the building inspections office, the other would be a deputy city secretary, who also will assist in other administrative positions. Total amendment. Help me, Robert, I missed it. $160.
$5.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
So I have a question. So this is to pay 2 salaries, but we're paying it out of our reserves.
You know, in the workshop, we discussed that we had anticipate we'll have additional revenues coming in this year, and it'll just come out of our regular budget. We're not making a draw out of the reserves at this time.
Okay. That's anticipated?
It's anticipated we will not have to draw out of reserves for this position.
Okay.
But that depends on revenues and expenditures, you know, over the next 10 months.
So the approval today would be approving the jobs and approving us to take the salary out of reserves if we have to.
Now, it's really to amend the existing budget.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I will make a motion to approve with the amendment of adding the updated estimated revenue for parkland dedication fees. Did I say that?
What?
right?
Nope. Wrong item.
We're not there yet. On the floor for the budget amendment.
I know, but I thought he said to add it.
That's this one.
He did, but no, but yours would be a friendly amendment to the motion
We're
on
on
the
24.
floor.
It's the right number.
They want to increase the park dedication revenue estimate.
That's what we discussed in the briefing. In the briefing, we discussed that we would also like to see the anticipated forecasted increased revenue for the parkland dedication based on the multifamily units that are in the pipeline and anticipated to show. That number was not increased on our budget, and so we'd like to align that so we have a better grasp on that revenue coming in.
Okay.
Since we're making a budget amendment, now would be the time to also make that request.
But we would need a dollar figure, so
That's why I said the estimated
Right.
revenue.
and which for a multifamily unit, we use the rule of thumb of $350,000. So we have one of those budgeted currently. So if you wanted to amend the budget to anticipate 2, the motion would be to increase the revenue estimate by $350,000. If you wanted to, I'm not in planning, so I don't know what's in the pipeline.
Okay.
But
So theoretically, if we don't, it's still going to come in later, and then you allocate it.
Yes.
Okay, then.
Yes.
I remove my friendly amendment.
Well, it was very friendly. So
It was very friendly.
So do we have a motion to approve like it is?
Yes.
Another motion in a second.
In a second. Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor? All opposed? All right. Passes 5-1. All right. 25, discuss and consider action on a resolution expressing its intent to contribute $8,521 to support CAPCOG's air quality program.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to introduce Mr. Anton Cox. He's the Regional Outreach Coordinator for the CAPCOG Air Quality Program to talk about this agenda item, and we'll both be available for any questions.
All right. While we get some slides loaded up for you, I want to thank you guys for having me up here to kind of talk about our air quality program before you guys take a vote on providing funding. All right. Thank you so much. So I'm going to give a brief presentation on the air quality program, and then I'm available to answer any questions y'all may have about our funding requests for fiscal year 2020. So just a brief slide on why we care about air pollution. Of of course, public health, impacts to the environment, and of course the federal levers of losing dollars for transportation projects within the area if we went out of attainment of air quality standards. CAPCOG has the Clean Air Coalition, which the City of Leander has been a part of since 2015. It's the association of local governments in the CAPCOG region, mainly focused on the Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown MSA. Established in 2002, and it mostly has the body come together to discuss planning, to make comments on strategic ways to make sure that our air quality stays within the standard. Just last year, we formed a new 2019 to 2023 air quality plan, which City of Leander endorsed. The goals of that plan were to maximize the chances of staying in compliance with federal standards, and then to minimize the health and environmental impacts of regional air pollution. And CAPCOG's role in doing this is a bunch of different activities. We understand that most of the organizations that are involved with the Clean Air Coalition do not have dedicated staff working on air quality activities. And so CAPCOG kind of takes the lead on doing those activities. So we do air quality monitoring, data analysis, emissions inventories, outreach and education, technical assistance, helping our organizations apply for grants, things like that. So we do quite a bit for air quality outreach. And in the backup for this item, I believe there was a scope of work, a draft scope of work, which you guys can look at. We actually have the Clean Air Coalition meeting next Wednesday, and they'll be voting on that scope of work. So there's still time to, I guess, take a look at our scope of work and make your opinions known for that. Here is the 2019 to 2023 Air Quality Monitoring Plan. This is where the monitors currently sit. In our next Clean Air Coalition meeting next Wednesday, there will be an action item on the air, which will be looking at moving the Hutto monitor to Round Rock. City of Round Rock's expressed strong interest in having a monitor there, and so the coalition will be taking a vote on moving that monitor for 2020. Here is our design value. And design value is just the statistical term that is the EPA uses to determine if we are within the standard or above the standard. And so the line, which has the square blocks with the numbers, is showing where we're at. For 2018, we're at 68 parts per billion for ozone. The standard is 70. It's that red line right there. And there's also that bar chart there that shows the highest value, the fourth highest value we've had each year. And so we're allowed to go over the standard because they do a 3-year average. So if we have 2 good years, we can have 1 bad year as long as it's not a ridiculously bad year. And so you can see in 2014 the bars are very low. In 2016 the bars are very low. We're very fortunate, and in 2019 we've had an extremely good year once again. So we're looking good for our design value for next year. But we like to keep track of that to know, what are we trying to stay below each year. And this is kind of a snapshot of our funding over the past 10 years or so. So you can see maybe, like a decade ago, 7 years ago, we were fully funded by the state, and then there was a drop-off, but there was still some level of state funding involved. In 2017, the funding for air quality planning was vetoed, but then this passed, and then we were supported primarily on local funding from our Clean Air Coalition members. This past legislative session, there is some funding coming back to the region from the state for air quality planning. We don't know when that funding is going to be available to us. It's been allocated, but it's in the TCEQ's hand right now. We're not too sure when that's going to be available to us, but there is some level of funding. It's going to be around $120,000, and that's going to be specifically for monitoring and emissions inventory work. So it's going to have a much smaller scope of work than what we do, but it will help offset some of the funding requests that we're asking for everyone, which is why we keep that asterisk on the last column there, the 2020 and the 2021 column. We plan on reducing our funding requests once we get that state funding in, and we'll readjust based on the amount that we receive from the state. So our budget for 1 year is $430,000, and we're going to keep it at that. We're not going to add on with any state funding. We'll just reduce the amount we're asking from our local governments. And so here's a snapshot of our overall funding request, $43,000 from 24 cities and county governments. That's the amount we're asking for City of Leander, $8,521. Like I said, the amount will be adjusted if we receive state funding. And CapCog provides deliverables to you guys throughout the year, like reports and status updates on what we're doing with those funds, typically quarterly. And I'm available to answer any questions you guys may have.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I have some questions. And now I can't read my writing. There was something about chances of something within the federal standards.
Okay, yeah.
What was that slide?
So here.
It was before that.
Before this?
It was written. I think it was one of the first ones.
Page 31.
Is it just maximize chances of staying in compliance, or?
No, it was the.
This is the first one. Sorry. It might have been something I said.
I was trying to listen to you.
Yeah, sorry,
right
sorry.
At the same time.
I was trying to speak
there you
quickly.
Go. Maximize the chances of staying in compliance with federal air quality standards.
Yeah, so that's number one. That's our number one goal with this new air quality plan, is to maximize the chances that we're staying in compliance.
Okay, and forgive me. I know so little about this. I've offered to, go and sit in on the meeting, but
I understand it's new for a while.
Yeah, so I'm trying to understand exactly what we're doing. So this is a federal program, and this is the state version of a federal program. Is that?
It's a federal mandate, the air quality standard.
Okay.
And then this is the local initiative to make sure that we meet those federal standards.
That federal mandate is what?
From the EPA, is 70 parts.
Okay.
And so 70 parts per billion for ozone.
Okay.
We focus on ozone because that's the one we're closest to exceeding. The next closest would be particulate matter, but we have quite a bit of playroom there. But the main area of focus for us, as you can see in the bar graph, is ozone, where for 2018 we're at 68 parts per billion. The standard is 70 parts per billion.
Okay, so that was another question. When you look at that, that is the entire area, the capital area, meaning Austin, Leander, I'm assuming Georgetown, Round Rock, everything.
Yeah, the 5 counties is what we consider.
So the numbers on there reflect our numbers. So we pay $8,000 to make Austin's numbers look better?
We pay $8,000 to do planning to make sure that Austin's numbers don't exceed. And one of the main reasons we have air quality monitors across the region is because we want to be able, so those 2 green dots are monitors operated by the TCEQ. Those are federal monitors.
Okay.
The red dots are monitors operated by CapCog. And the reason we have monitors in the outlying counties is so that if for whatever reason, Travis County, those monitors in Travis County show an exceedance.
Okay.
We want to be able to show that the monitors in Williamson County are still below the standard.
So those spots, that's something that exists, that
Yes.
stays there all the time, that measures the air quality.
Yep, it measures air quality between March and November. That's when ozone season is in the region.
Ozone season.
Yeah. So they're monitoring.
Can we kill ozone that time of year? It's ozone season. You have a license to.
Right.
Okay.
And to be clear, if Austin falls below the federal mandate, that will affect all of the surrounding towns as far as now the federal government coming in and requiring that we do certain things, correct?
Historically, it has.
Okay.
So historically, the EPA has said if a region or if a county goes out of attainment, the entire MSA, they would say, is exceeding because the MSA influences whatever the urban hub's air quality is through transportation in and out of the area. But just 2 years ago, 2017, San Antonio area, they actually exceeded the standard for ozone. But they were able to make an argument that only Bexar County should be non-attainment, and the EPA did accept that. So that was kind of a change from how they had typically done things. Part of their reasoning was that so much of the population in that area is in Bexar County. We don't have that same situation here. We're a little bit more spread out than Bexar County is. But we would be working to make an argument that if Travis County had a exceedance,
Well, Councilmember
we don't want the
Italian
rest of the
Parker
region to.
lives in Travis County,
Yeah.
so she would get hit. One last question is, of the CAC's activities, is there anything that you can directly kind of attribute the decrease in that bar graph
Yeah, so
to
we do.
your activities that we're funding?
So we do have, we do quite a bit of technical assistance, trying to help our local entities apply for grants like TERP, which is the Texas Emission Reduction Program, where you can, it's all about fleet turnover. The largest source of ozone emissions in our area is from the transportation sector. And so it's all about doing, like getting older vehicles off the roads and replacing them with newer ones. So we do a lot of work to help our entities apply for those grants. When we still had state funding available, we did actually offer grants to our Clean Air Coalition members so they could apply for so they could replace their vehicles. We also have done a cost of non-attainment study where we looked at how much it would cost the region if we did go into non-attainment. That's something we might want to do again. We did it 2015, 2014, and that we found there was like a $2.3 billion cost to the region if we went into non-attainment, just because of businesses saying they wouldn't expand here because of the cost of doing federal permitting in the area. And so a lot of our work is studying air emissions in the region, the impact of it in the area, and then promoting activities that will reduce emissions.
Is the greatest amount really due to congestion? So traffic sitting on 35, for instance, downtown, would that be one of the bigger areas?
It is the biggest area, but it's actually becoming a small area, which is a good thing. Because as vehicles are getting cleaner, as vehicles are turning over, we're seeing that the amount coming from, we call them on-road sources, is getting lower. But yeah, it is. Vehicle idling on I-35 is a major source of air pollution in our area. Still the largest source. Next would be point sources. That's like a factory or a refinery, concrete kiln, things like that. And we do work with point sources to strategically lower their emissions on days where it might be a high ozone day. So we're doing work with those sources as well.
So you're saying it actually is worse than cows?
Say it again?
You're saying that the vehicles, that is actually worse than cows?
Yes, it is.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's specifically for ozone emissions.
Depends on which cow you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval. Is there any other discussion? All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion passes 5-1. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming out. All right, 26, discuss and consider action on directing staff to proceed with a request for qualifications, RFQ, as stated on the posted agenda for a new park in Leander Old Town District. Mr. Tummins.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. Back in October 15th at our special CIP call meeting, there were a couple of park projects that were discussed pretty thoroughly with potential to move forward. We seem to get the impetus from you to at least bring these forward. We've done one. This is the second to go out with an RFQ for interested parties, design firms, architect engineers, landscape architects, to submit their proposals for the design and engineering of this park. And we ask your consideration and approval as we move forward. Thank you.
All right, I do have a person signed up, Mr. Frank Stiles.
Dr. Frank Stiles, 4180 Highway 183, Leander, Texas. This is a good idea, and I'm here to support it fully. I'm not here to sit up here and give you other reasons to do things differently. People work very, very hard. They come up, they put these things, and then somebody like me comes up and says, but why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you add this? It's not why I'm up here. I'm up here to tell you that Leander has a tremendous history to itself. And from what I've seen about the park, they're talking about the dinosaurs, Neanderthal lady, and the trains. Doing a great job. What I'm here to ask you to consider for this park or for parks down the line is a couple other things. City of Leander has a tremendous, tremendous history of the Republic of Texas. The 65 Rangers at the Blockhouse Creek went down to Bastrop to go reinforce the Alamo, and then when it fell, sent to San Jacinto, where they fought. Noah Smithwick, who wrote one of the best books of history on the state of Texas, was one of those Rangers. In this that I have given you, it says the 5 towns that became Leander. A lot of people don't realize that there were 5 towns that coalesced to become this town. We have a lot longer history than just 1870s, 1880s. Something that acknowledged that would be a nice addition here or someplace else. Bill Pickett, the most incredible man that ever came out of this area of Texas, was born in the Miller community just right up the road. And he did it from 1900 to 1930 when being a black man was not a promotional thing for your career. And he's here. And this right here basically was a letter I'd written to the school board to try to get them to name Tom Glenn's elementary school after Bill Pickett. Bill Pickett came in second in the voting. And I will continue to push for him and for the Miller community. Harold Stewart put out a panoramic picture that really shows this place right here that would be nice to put someplace in this park. That's basically all I've got. I'm not here to criticize. I'm just adding on to certain things that if we use them here, great. If we use them someplace, fine. If we don't ever use them, I simply wanted you to be aware of them. Thank you for your time, and I wholly and wholeheartedly support this park. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have a letter from Bridget Ranch. She is out of town, was not able to come, but asked me to read it. Dear Mayor Hill, regarding Old Town Leander Park, please accept this letter as support for the Old Town Leander Park funding. This park has the potential to change the trajectory of development in and around Old Town District by providing a venue for community members to gather and socialize, to create new business opportunities, and to create a space that attracts families and visitors. Old Town development has been a high priority project for the Chamber of Commerce and the City of Leander for a number of years. We believe this area has a huge potential to differentiate Leander from other Austin suburbs. This project will improve the livability and attractiveness of our community by transforming a vacant lot into a vibrant, safe, active community gathering space that is accessible to all. On behalf of the Leander Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank the Leander City Council for considering and making the Old Town Park a priority project for funding. Sincerely, Bridget Brandt, President, CEO, Leander Chamber of Commerce. So I would like to make a motion that we approve the RFQ to go out for costing and design work for the park.
I'll second.
Can we clarify that? Please clarify that this is for the RFQ going out. This is not for approval of funds to start everything. This is just to get the bids.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I have a couple of questions. Harkening back to Dr. Stiles' comments about the history and settling here, why is old now spelt with an E all over this? We're not renaming it Old Town with an E, right? Because we're not medieval English settlers.
The name of the park would still need to go to the park board for consideration and approval, and then to your final approval as well.
Okay, so this is not permanently changing all the marketing.
It was, back and forth. So, we had that discussion.
Who put that E in there, by the way? Did you put that E in there?
You know, I thought I heard it from y'all at one time, to be honest, but I may not have.
I guess we know what kind
I
of
did.
cologne you
I put it
use,
in there,
Old
but I
English.
thought I heard it from someone, so I don't know. But it can
haven't
all,
seen it
yeah,
until
it's not
recently.
official until you approve it, so we'll come back for sure.
And then secondly, not that this is much of a question, but I think, we are facing issues with outgrowing our city hall and where are we going to expand. And even if we move to North Line, that would be years and millions of dollars away. And I think in this time of budgets and how we're going to fund things, perhaps it would be better to put this off to a later date and just beautify for now in a way that's not permanent. Just a thought.
Yeah, I guess the thought that I have about that is, the reason that people justified possibly putting a city hall here was we own the land, right? But if you walk outside tonight and look at the parking, there is none. The improvements we've made to Brushy Street and adding a restaurant here have taken away all the parking. And I came on a weekend recently and had to park way over here. I'm parked around the building tonight, so I don't foresee. And we talked in the briefing, and Mr. Carroll talked about the amount of land that would be needed would far exceeded. This is 0.82, of an acre, so it's less than an acre. And we talked about bringing in the police force and all employees together, the parks. And, his opinion was, you might need something upwards of 10 acres for that. So, to me, there's no doubt that there's not room to put one here. I don't see it ever happening. In Northline, I think there are some advantages. Number one, if we get the land donated, which I was told in the beginning we were, up to 3 acres. So let's say we needed 5. Maybe we could work out a deal for 2. There's structured parking being built there already. We're going to need a new gun range that could potentially be in a basement. We're needing improvements to a police station, so that kind of answers that question. Then you take the assets that we would be leaving, like the police station, like this facility, parks building, and you start to put all those together, and maybe you can get enough to help offset any cost of building a city hall. But there are very few things that we can do to affect the outcome of things. I think this is one, because there are very few parks. The only one we really have today that are accessible by all areas of the city is Bledsoe. Lakewood, it's going to be fantastic, but it's on the east side. It's in a neighborhood. San Gabriel is on the north side. There are very few people from where I live, probably from the east side, that will go to San Gabriel. So you start to think about, where would people go? I absolutely believe people will come here. They'll come to this park. They'll do things here. We could bring in every festival, whether it's movie night at the park, whether it's bluegrass. We could potentially have a First Friday music night and bring people into Old Town. Every single thing that we do, other than 4th of July, could potentially be around Old Town to bring people here. So, to me, there are very few things that are just, a no-brainer as far as having a revenue stream result of what we do, and I believe that this is one. So, I'm going to make a motion. Oh, well, there is a motion in a second. So,
I would like to also add, I've spoken to many members, landowners, business owners in Old Town. They could not be more excited about this. They know it's going to immediately give them a sense of place, which is very important as we're trying to develop this into a kind of creative little historic Old Town, show some of our history, and to get the chamber to also support this. Again, I think when you look at our return on investment, and that's why I questioned that $500,000 for a trail. I think when you take these two, you look at them side by side, this is going to benefit businesses, landowners, homeowners. That's it.
But I think that we could do that in a much less permanent way. I think the responsible thing to do is to plan for our future first. And a park is nice, but where are we going to have our staff in 2 years when we've outgrown every space we have?
Well, there's no room to put people on this facility. There's no
right in
room
back of
you
it.
could get. That makes no sense to me. I'm sorry.
So,
All right.
my turn. I'm okay with RFQ, but I kind of agree. I mean, we need to be smart about this, right? We need to know what the future looks like and sit down and have conversations. I would like to hear the feedback, right? Because I mean, a lot of people like the park, and I'm not against this park. But I mean, we need to be smart about it because the city's made some very unwise choices, and I think we just need to spend a little bit of time. And I mean, it's not that we're not going to do it, but let's just spend some time and make sure that we have the data points.
Well, and look, I'm not opposed to that. Obviously, that's rational thinking, right? But we spent $1 million on that street right there.
Oh,
$2
$2 million. So
on 2 blocks.
we've invested an amount in Old Town. We don't have the ability, in my opinion, to affect what Northline turns out to be. We do have the ability to affect what Old Town is. Absolutely. And so everything that we do that, to me, everything that I vote for and am passionate about, it's going to have a return.
Sure.
This has a return because the people that are waiting for a table, theoretically, at AJ's can take their kids to the park. The people that are at Leander Beer Market can go listen to music right there.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. What I'm saying is there's $2 million out there because it was, for whatever reasons, I ain't even going to point a finger at anybody. $2 million. Was it $1 million over budget? What was the original budget for this street out here? $1 million, and we paid how much? $2 million. Because nobody wanted to slow the jets.
2 years, right?
All I'm saying is let's make sure we don't, I mean, we can do this in the next even couple of months, but let's just make sure.
But we heard from David tonight that there is no way that you can get all the other areas into a building on that piece of land. Can't do it. And again, look at the parking out there. There's no parking. So if we took up the second half, where are people going to park? If we move how can we move the
That's why we need to have the
police?
conversation. I don't know.
But that's
I don't know.
a different equation.
Yeah.
That's a different discussion. That's about a city hall and potentially where that might go, which I do think there are other options besides Northline.
Sure.
I think it adds a lot to Northline, and I think if you looked at mixed-use developments like South Lake Town Square, like Pearland Town Square, the ones that seem to do the best are the ones that have a city hall in them. So moving that makes a lot of sense if you look at other projects around the country that are successful. There's not room here to put it here. So the question becomes, how can we maximize what we're doing with Old Town? And it's not going to happen on its own. We have a chance right now to do something to make a difference. And I don't think that this is the final piece, but I'm telling you, I believe that if we do this, it's going to make it easier to get another restaurant. It's going to make it easier to, convince owners here to invest in their property so that, they do paint them. They do make them look like a Casa Costa. They do, I think all those things are coming together. I think we talked about it for so long and didn't do anything. Nothing ever happened. If it's going to happen, it needs to happen now, in my opinion, or it's never going to happen.
To be fair, I think the parking would still be an issue if we're doing a music festival every Friday night. And besides that, that affects the business of Smooth Village, which is another Old Town business.
There's nothing that says that Smooth Village couldn't be involved in programming one Friday a month.
Can I add to that? So in our, I think this is relevant to the discussion. In the Old Town group, they are in that group and have no problem with this and are very excited about this. So it's a compliment to what they're doing. They have no problem with it at all. And before anything big is done, it is all incorporated in the master plan. I'm just going to call it a master plan. So that is being looked at by that group.
So this is something that came through the Old Town group from the chamber?
No.
We've
No,
discussed it,
Yeah, it has
as
been
well as
presented to the Old
other
Town group.
opportunities to do things to help Old Town.
Yeah. So this is part of that picture because we don't know what we can do without knowing what it's going to cost. So this is a step, again, like he says, not saying we're going to do it, but what is it going to cost? And then we have a piece of the picture to put with the bigger
I
picture.
think the difference to me is if we look at the projects that we vote on and the amount of money we spend, let's think about just tonight. You think about a trail system. I mean, it's nice, but what's the economic return? Limited? Absolutely. There are a few things that we do other than giving incentives to bring a business directly that can affect economic output and revenue coming into the city. But this is one of them because of where it is, because of, again, we can see that what's been done so far, getting AJs, spending money on the street, having Smooth Village, voting to give incentives to Leander Beer Market to put an overhang out back. It's had an effect, and we can see it by walking outside. So, to me, it's an investment, but it has a clear return. And there are a few things, in my opinion, that we can do that absolutely do that. So, well, let's put it to a vote. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes 5-1. Thank you, Mr. Tummins. Okay. Item 27, discuss and consider action on a resolution expressing intent to finance expenditures to be incurred by the City of Leander, Texas for park improvements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. IRS regulations require a potential issuer, like the City of Leander, to show on record that you intend to reimburse previously spent expenditures with bond funds. Otherwise, you can't reimburse yourself if you've already spent the money before you issue bonds. So, obviously, in this meeting and in the previous meeting, the council has discussed moving forward with significant additional improvements at Lakewood Park, potential improvements across the street, and also this resolution touches upon future planned projects at the San Gabriel Park, which were referenced in the bond task force recommendations. So adoption of this resolution does not bind the council, but it gives the city the opportunity, if we so choose, that when those bonds or park bonds are sold in the future, that we can reimburse expenditures that we've made up to that point. It doesn't require the city to do that, but if it preserves that opportunity to do so. So staff recommends approval of this resolution.
Based on your excellent explanation during the briefing session, I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have some questions. So some of this is for the Old Town Park, right?
Well, it's an umbrella. Yes, it allows, if the city spends money on Old Town Park and then bonds are issued in the future and we want to reimburse where that money was spent, then it would be legal.
And that's why it would be coming out of our reserves and not just directly out of the bond sales, right?
Well, the bond sales are in the future.
Okay.
So if any money is spent today or in the next month, the next 12 months, it has to come from somewhere.
Why aren't we just issuing the bonds?
Well, one, without significant design and engineering and concept planning, we don't know how much debt to issue. And it's, in my opinion, it's not advisable to issue until you have a much closer estimate of the hard costs that you need. And the city's reserves are in a healthy position and sufficient to cash flow that in the short term. And as also was discussed a little bit, we are pretty conservative with our park dedication funds, so that may help offset any need to go, or some of the need to go into reserves until future bonds are sold.
Thank you. And then the second issue I had is I know that it's been talked about, that the bonds that were passed were just for parks, and it's kind of an umbrella term. But I'm looking at the city website now, and the way it was advertised to all of us at the time was a very specific list of, it says Project 18, but it's significantly shorter than that. It's probably about 10 or 11 projects, and it's very specific over what parks they are, what's being funded specifically. And I hate the idea of funding something else than what's on this list because I feel like it's deceiving the voters.
Christine,
Not a question.
here's the, if you want to look at the bond, I've got it up.
Counselor,
okay.
we did talk, and it would be really helpful if you would come to the briefing sessions.
You specifically told me.
But
I didn't have to.
It would be helpful if everybody was there, because these are things that we talk about every time, and we're repeating the same thing that we talked about. What we said was that conservatively on parkland dedication, the year before last was $880,000. And that was based off, according to Mr. Powers, one large development or medium-sized development is $350,000.
Yes.
So theoretically, that's two medium-sized ones and a small one, to get where we were in 2017. We already know that we have more than that coming in. There's a really good chance that there's enough platted and coming in that you may not even have to do the bonds, correct?
I don't want to go on record with that,
Okay.
because
I understand.
if we did all the projects that are being discussed, this resolution covers $3.5 million. So,
Yeah. Right.
But I would not like to project that far
Right.
out.
Can you say potentially?
Likely. We're making him uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I have to deal
But
with
we
it.
don't, let's also make sure everybody is aware. We're not saying sell any bonds right now. I mean, that is a
Correct.
separate vote, so this is just a resolution with an intent to finance. So,
We're giving ourselves a legal mechanism to be able to do this, correct?
Yes.
Right, if you so choose. So it gives you a safety valve if you want to reimburse those expenditures with future bonds, but it doesn't require it.
okay. All right, we need a motion
We have a motion and a second.
and a second. Okay, sorry. All right, all in favor? All opposed?
Thank you.
All right, motion passes 5-1. All right, item 28 is being pulled from the agenda. So we're going to move to 29, discuss and consider action on an agreement by and between the City of Leander and Brookfield Residential, LLC, to obtain an easement as stated on the posted agenda. Mr. Tummins?
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. Good to see you again. We discussed this in the briefing, obviously, once again, but for everyone else, the objective is to obtain an easement from Brookfield Residential for approximately a little over 27,000 square feet, a little over 0.6 of an acre. This property is going to be developed into a residential lot, part of Brookfield's residential plan. But the boundary line, as we discovered, now comes within about 4 feet of the golf cart barn, which will eliminate our back area to be able to wash our carts. We have our cart washing station back in that area, along with some other areas, other things that are back there. So therefore, we would have to move that cart washing area, including the drain and the system that's a part of that, and we'll probably have to create another door. The easement itself is about $33,910, and then they've also asked us to, as part of that easement, to provide the stone screening wall and also aluminum decorative fencing, as you see around other properties in around the golf course, and that's at $30,988, and that total comes to a little over $64,000, almost $65,000. And so I am seeking approval to move forward so we can initiate the easement, obtain the easement, and move on, and that way we don't have to make some alternative plans for that cart barn and how we're going to wash and maintain our carts properly.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. But I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And please correct me. I thought I heard you say or somebody say that they were going to build the wall.
They are going to build it, but we are going to pay for the wall. Correct. The reason, when I did the figures, as I shared, they gave an option. We are required either to build the wall or pay for the wall.
Seems like I've heard that promise before.
I was sitting there thinking the same thing. But so that's part of the easement, and part of them granting the easement is that we take care of the wall and the fence. Okay? So when I did the figuring, it would save us a lot of staff time, dollars as well, by just letting them build the wall, but we pay for the wall, or the wall and the fence.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor and
5-1.
Council.
Thank you, sir. Item 30, discuss and consider action on an ordinance to provide for the methods of making public information requests as stated on the posted agenda.
Mayor and Council, this ordinance does a couple of things. First, it provides for the methods of making public information requests. Specifically, state law authorizes the city to establish a single mailing address and a single email address at which public information requests may be received, and that the city can also designate a website for receiving requests as well. It authorizes the city manager to designate the mailing address, the email address from time to time, and post that information on the website, so that does not have to be brought back to council in the event that it needs to change for any reason. The ordinance also updates the city's charges that it can charge for public information requests to match what is authorized by state law, and in the event state law changes, the ordinance will default to state law requirements to give the city time to update those. And I can answer any questions if there are any.
I do have one person that did not sign up to speak, Stephanie Burque, but wanted to lodge her vote against this item. Put that in the record.
So I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have questions.
Okay.
Can I call on Dara? Dara, what is the average time that you spend on an OR?
I'm going to defer that to Ms. Stephanie Brown, because she is the one that's been handling all of this.
Ms. Brown getting called on?
But to be clear, Ms. Crabtree, we had to ask to borrow Ms. Brown, correct? In order to handle it because it was too much for you in your position. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
How much time on average do you spend per OR?
Currently, because of the high volume, I'm having to do some extension letters. So depending on how large it is, I'm taking almost the full 10 business days, and then extensions, I usually ask for an additional week or two dependent.
So let me kind of, like your actual person hours. Like how many hours?
It
per
depends on
OR?
the request. If they're quite large, we had a request recently that was about 500 documents, and it took about a day and a half because we have to search for it.
So
Then I have
13
to
hours?
look- Yeah.
12,
I'd say.
13 hours?
For those really large ones, because we search for them, and then I have to go through them for redaction purposes. So,
And when you say documents, are those printed, or is that an email that someone would receive?
everything is on the computer, so it's mainly emails that people are currently requesting seems to be our high volume.
So it's mostly the time it takes to do it, not necessarily the printing of documents.
Correct. I'm not
Okay.
printing anything. We pull it off the Barracuda system, and then we have to convert everything to PDFs, and then I go through all the PDFs and I redact any information that's not public.
And there's a process of recording this for future as well, right?
Yes.
So how many redundant ORs do you do? And that's a trick question because we already kind of know, right? So I don't want to
Yes.
hear.
How many?
Yeah, how many are the same ORs over and over and over and over and over?
They're not necessarily from the same person.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And they change maybe a few words or date ranges on them. Those seem to be a pretty big chunk. I did not count them out.
Okay. There's a good bit right now, right? So
I have currently,
Yeah,
let's say, 24 open, and out of those 24, I have about 5 that are redundant, but they're high volume, so I had to do extensions on them. So it'll take me several days to go through all the documents, because I'm thinking I have about anywhere from 800 to 1,200 to peruse. And then by the time I've narrowed it down, we probably give out anywhere from 500 to 800 documents on the requests.
So with this, that's good, thank you. So with this item, I like that it's one place. But I would like to see, though, if it's possible, is the stuff that's come out of the ORs to post them.
Yes.
Like my text messages, post them. Put them in a file and let everybody see them. Because the OR has been requested, and maybe this will eliminate some of these ORs. It's just the same thing over and over again. Look, before this summer, I pronounced it library. That's how I said it. And my kids go, Dad's library. And so now I say library. So, my text and emails have not changed. I'm pretty sure nobody else's have unless you're just really not thinking, right? So can we put those so people can see them?
Councilmember Shaw, that is exactly what I have written down to ask for too, because so many of these requests that come in are almost identical, and since nobody knows what somebody else has requested,
Exactly.
it's a completely separate poll, and it's taking all this time and money to replicate. If everything's already redacted, we could just post it on the website. It's the public's information.
I would suggest that we consult with staff on the technological requirements for doing that, and then bring back some information for the council on that item.
Is it possible to post who is requesting the ORRs
That would be,
as part of that?
that would be public information.
Yeah, because if anybody asks for it,
Maybe we
send
can
it to them
see
anyway.
who's taken up so much of our city employees' time.
I don't know if we should go there. There.
It's public information.
It is.
And some people are already requesting the spreadsheet of the requested ORR.
Yeah, what I'm saying is we shouldn't
Let's
have
make
the
it all
conversation of who's doing it, right? You can post it, that's fine. It is public information, post it, but I don't think we should get down to going so-and-so's requesting information every other day.
Well, the state of Texas actually does give remedies for people that abuse the system.
But I think some people would utilize it less if the information they're looking for is available.
Exactly.
What I
Excuse
would,
me? What did you say? No, you did.
I'm sorry, we need to cease
I
this.
just didn't hear what the comment was.
I'm sorry, you're out of order.
So,
I'm always out of order.
All right, I'm going to take a vote on point of order.
What are we
Point
voting
of order.
on? What's the point of
That
order?
you stopped the conversation.
I stopped. I asked what her comment was.
All right. Let's call the question.
I actually had another question.
All right, I'm going to call the question. Those in favor?
Let's be clear. Let's just make sure we're being clear here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are making a vote to put this into play.
Correct.
Okay. And Ken, what the two council members are asking about, is that able to be talked about at a later date as well, too?
Of course.
Okay. Got it.
I have a legal question.
Okay.
Well, I made a motion to call the question.
Okay.
All right.
Let her ask the question. Okay.
All right, I'll withdraw I'll withdraw.
Thank you. My question was that in our open records training, it's always said that if somebody makes a request of us, we are supposed to forward that on ourselves and not direct them to a website or anything. Has that changed at all, or are we still responsible for that?
What do you mean forwarded on?
Like if somebody emails a request to me and says, I want all these records, I forward it to Dara. I don't reply to them and say, you have to go to the website and fill out this form.
So what's going to be required, what the new law allows and what it states is that when the single email address and the single mailing address are designated, that requests that are sent to other email addresses are not subject to all the deadlines and requirements of the Public Information Act, meaning that the city doesn't have to respond within a certain period of time and submit requests to the AG within a certain period of time. Okay. So sending an email, an open records request to someone other than the designated email is not going to be effective to require a response, even if it's forwarded. Even if it's forwarded.
Is it at the point that it's forwarded that clock starts ticking? Or do I just tell them email this person?
It would be better to direct them to email the person, because part of the reason why it's important to have the single email address and the single mailing address is to be able to keep up better with the volume of open records requests.
Okay, and I won't be in violation if I do that?
If you tell them to
send it here instead.
Exactly,
okay.
Yes. And then the website should be clear. Will state, here's where you need to make these requests, here's how you make the requests, and here's the consequence if you don't submit it to this mailing address or to this email address. The public will be informed that the request is not effective unless it's made under one of these procedures or locations.
Perfect, thank you.
So yeah. I have a question also, and a couple of comments to add, if I may. I know Jason had asked what the average cost would be. I've had people ask me that too, like what is it going to cost me to get this information? Because I think clearly our intent is not to just make money off of this. It's not something to. It's just becoming so cumbersome, but some of the ORRs seem to be for entertainment purposes, not really to achieve anything. Not all, but some. They have every right to all the information. We know that. We're fine with that. I don't think anybody has any issue with that. When we have to hire somebody to do it, then it's like, well, what are we doing? So with that in mind, an average person, trying to find something out, not necessarily planning and zoning or, on a property issue, but just a generality, and there may be, 20 emails involved. Are we looking at $15? I think it's $15 an hour, but that's probably not an hour's worth of work. We're not looking at somebody being charged $100 for just some emails.
If the cost of responding to a request is going to exceed $40, the city is going to be required to provide an estimate letter to the requester, telling them this is how much we estimate it will cost, and that estimate letter will need to be as accurate as possible, being an estimate of the time that will need to be spent to respond to the request.
So then they can make an educated,
so they can make a
informed
decision,
do they really want that?
And then once that information is provided, and that letter will advise the person if there are other more cost-efficient ways, cost-effective ways to view the information. And it will also give the person an opportunity to see if they want to spend that
Define
much,
it.
narrow the request, review the records in some other way.
Okay. So the comment I wanted to share is I called a couple of cities myself just to find out, what are you doing? Is this normal? And they all say they've been charging for a long time, so we're kind of behind. So I just wanted y'all to know that. I talked to an assistant city manager and a city secretary. Thank you.
I spoke to the AG too, and I spoke to the person that does their ORR request, and they charge for everything that they can, absolutely, because it does take time, and we are having a person, in addition to the people that we've already had doing it, come over to help us out. And I think, look, I think the state gives remedies for people that abuse it. Quite frankly, I wish we could as well, because I think there are people that do. So anyway, we have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor? All opposed? All right, passes 4-2. All right, item 31, discuss and consider action on amending the email server policy to include text archiving software as stated on the posted agenda.
Mayor and Council, this agenda item also does two things. It updates your council email retrieval policy to add texts, since you have a software that now archives texts, and it also allows the city secretary's office, all the personnel within that office, to access those softwares in order to respond to requests, so that you're not, Dara's not a bottleneck, I guess, when she's out. The work can go on.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I had a couple questions. Sorry. All of council has this software, right? All of us?
That's my
On our phones?
understanding.
Okay. Is there anybody else in the city that does, or is it just council? I'm just wondering who this affects. Is it just us that it affects, or are there other staff members or?
The policy only addresses the council as far as the retrieval and the protocol and procedures. I cannot answer the question as far as the rest of the council. Okay. Okay.
We just automatically, when we have requests, go in and pull her information.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
We have a motion?
You already did.
Okay. All right. Okay. All in favor? All right. Passes unanimously. All right. Closing comments.
So earlier tonight, we had a acknowledgement of Mrs. Thompson and being Citizen of the Year, which was pretty exciting. And I wanted to add at that time, I met Ms. Thompson many years ago at a luncheon for the Chamber of Commerce. And I didn't know anything about her, didn't know who she was. She was our guest speaker, and I was just captivated. It was funny, as you can imagine. The entire time she didn't have a buzzer to stop her, but it was so much fun and so entertaining. And I love history. It was really good to hear what she had to say, and I couldn't wait to talk to her. And then years later to find out when I moved my membership from a DAR chapter in Austin to the one that we started here, we're in the same DAR chapter. I was like, it's Ms. Thompson. I was very excited about that. I've seen her several times in between. I have a few of her books, and it is just, she truly is a treasure. So it was an honor to acknowledge her tonight. And with that, I would like to remind everyone Monday is November 11th. It is Veterans Day. And we have and I forget what it's called, but it starts at 10 o'clock at Veterans Memorial Park. Veterans Day Ceremony. There's not a special name, or that's just it? Okay. But I'm sorry? Anyway, so hope everyone will come out and help us honor our veterans. Thank you.
Well, I know you don't want to listen to me because I don't, so just have a happy holiday weekend.
So last month, the Leander Arts Commission did a workshop on NaNoWriMo, which is the National Novel Writing Month. And you are encouraged to write 10,000 words throughout the month and get your novel done. And local business right here in Old Town, Patchouli Joe's, is going to be hosting NaNoWriMo every Sunday this month from 11 to 2. Come in and get your writing done and meet other Leander writers.
All right. Thank you again to everybody who came on. I wanted to actually just say that, and however this comes about, I'm proud of our council tonight. I think things could have gone a different direction for a minute. I'm proud of the way that you guys came back around and worked on this thing together. I think our communication's getting better. I think our communication can continue to get better, and I'm excited about being a part of that. So I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for kind of everybody keeping their cool and putting the city first. So thank you.
All right. I would like to express our sympathy and condolences for the Elmore family and the loss of Mike. I just want the Elmore family to know that they're in our prayers. And keep your eye on the website regarding the Veterans Day ceremony. If there's a huge storm, I'm sure we'll be notified. But I'm going to be there with my big coat on. And then also thinking forward, December 7th, Saturday, is our Old Town Christmas Festival, so mark your calendars. Thank you all very much.
I wanted to, I know we still have one more meeting this month, but I wanted to express my appreciation for Gordon Pierce. We have a new CEO of Leander that's going to be starting December 1st, or whatever the Monday is, or the day. And I just wanted to express my appreciation for being a very steady hand at a time where we needed it. And, your wisdom and experience is well appreciated. And, we're excited about Rick coming on, and I know staff's, and I absolutely love the guy. At the same time, we appreciate what you've done for us. So I wanted to thank you. So with that, the time is 9:08. We are adjourned.